की जय। Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. 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 Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. 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 Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So because of the Kirtan festival, we also will again speak on the chanting of the holy name as a topic, so that our absorption can be deep. That's yesterday. Maharaj raised this point of one-pointed focus, of complete focus. So, such a festival is the opportunity to focus. I'll just have to. Oh, I did push the wrong button. Madhya. Oh, you have a book. Wow. They still exist. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kabunai. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kabunai. Shravanadi Sudha Chitta Karya Udai. Shravanadi Sudha Chitta Karya Udai. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kabunai. Shravanadi Sudha Chitta Karya Udai. Because we're limited for time, we're not going to do too much chanting, but maybe Aki Dev Babu, I don't know where he is, but he sings so nice, the Bengali, if he can do it. Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunai. Shravanadi Sudha Chitta Karya Udai. Nitya Siddha, eternally proved. Krishna Prema, love of Krishna. Sadhya, to be gained. Kabu, at any time. Naya, not. Sravanadi, by hearing, etc. Shuddha, purified. Chitte, in the heart. Karya awakens. Pure love for Krishna. Is he? No, sorry, it's the translation now. I should have said Translation. Pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, the living entity naturally awakens. And those purport is a little further. There are two processes of practicing devotional service. One is regulative devotional service, and the other is spontaneous devotional service. Those who have not attained the platform of spontaneous attachment in devotionals render service under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, according to the regulative principles mentioned in the revealed scriptures. According to the revealed scriptures, this kind of devotional service is called Vaidhi Bhakti. Oh, comment? Oh, but a little up. Otherwise, I go like this. Is that- Yeah, yeah, a little. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Om Jnanatimanandasya Gyanandana Salakya Shakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Sigurave Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I like this verse very much because this concept of awakening, of love awakening, is um, something we can remember. Then Sravanadi Sudachitta, Sravanadi, hearing and chanting. Hearing is nourishing our chanting. Um, Hearing is adding uh, the depth to our devotional service. Um, in one letter, Srila Prabhupada describes the situation in Vrindavan. And he is describing that if we are not regularly engaging in hearing and chanting, then at one point we start to think that, you know, what did this spiritual master do? He left us these deities to care for and all these things, and he went away. Uh, and Prabhupada explains everything becomes a burden. Then we start to feel that our spiritual life is a burden. Uh, so, this hearing and chanting is really the core activity. It rejuvenates our connection with Krishna. It is direct. It is Krishna directly. Abhinatvam naminamina. We're doing a lot of service with the material energy, running around here and there. But Srila Prabhupada states that the nature of the material energy is that it leaves us perplexed. Always something perplexing, like, what do you do now? And how did this happen? And then what? The perplexing nature of the material energy sooner or later strikes us. And then forget. Then just forget everything. Simply leave it all behind, whatever it may be. Just chant Hare Krishna or hear about Krishna. Um, Hearing is obviously the seed, the seed of our chanting. By hearing about Krishna, we make a connection. By hearing about devotional service, many years ago, I was um, in the Netherlands, and I didn't know anything about Krishna consciousness. And once there was a musician, and this musician, his name was Burton Green. He was a piano player. And he was uh, doing a jam session, and I played guitar. So we joined in. And he wanted to do ragas. And I knew two ragas. I'd been in India and I'd learned two ragas. So I was like doing my ragas on guitar, and he did them on piano and all kinds of bongos and shakers and whatever. And then he says, let's do some mantra. So I thought, yeah, why not? Raga, spiritual from India, mantra, also spiritual sound from India, all spiritual. Right? So I said, very nice. And then he began to play and sing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And I don't know if this was the first time I heard the Mahamantra, but it was my early experiences with the Mahamantra. And at that time, I experienced the Mahamantra as spiritual sound. I had no association with the name Krishna, right? Because I wasn't familiar with Krishna. So it was just sound. There was nothing to fill it in. There was no flute. There was no yellow dhoti. There was no lotus eyes. There was no three-bent form like as we have here. Krishna is very much, as Satchidananda Maharaj mentioned yesterday to me. He said he's really Tribanga. Yeah? uh, he is very, very much leaning to one side in his threefold bended form. So all that now has been filled in. Now, when we say, yes, Krishna, as soon as we chant Krishna, we remember a flute. Right? How could we not remember a flute? Yes, and then we can think so much about the flute. We can think the flute of Krishna. Lord Brahma heard that flute, and then Gayatri manifested in his consciousness and came out of his mouth in that way. And he just described the spiritual reality by hearing the flute of Krishna. We also read in Chaitanya Charitamrita that, like, the gopis complaining, how is this that Krishna is constantly kissing this flute, although he is male? I mean, by grammar, flute is male. So I said, how is this that this flute is constantly tasting the nectar of Krishna's lips? So many things are described about Krishna's flutes, different flutes, Venu, little flute with 9 holes. But the big flute called the Mahananda is the favorite of the cowherd boys. It's very loud and like this. It's long, like, what shall we say? Now we know so many things about Krishna. Now I know that Krishna has nails like mother of pearl. I never thought before of nails like mother of pearl, but now I think of Krishna's toenails, mother of pearl. Uh, all by hearing, but nourished by chanting and then devotional service. And all the service that we do, we bring it back to chanting. Um, we become active. The soul is by nature eternally active. And because the soul is by nature eternal active, it is natural to glorify. It is natural. Uh, that is the natural activity of the soul. Therefore, sometimes it is said that, but why is Krishna so attracted when we chant his holy name? I mean, does he enjoy it when he hears his own glory? Just like I would enjoy it if you all go, oh, Kadamba Kanana Maharaj. Oh, ho, ho, Kadamba Kanana Maharaj. Oh, ho, ho. Ha, he's so nice. Then you'd see me like going like, ah. I would become very happy um, because I would feel, yes, finally they're recognizing my glories, my greatness. Um, but Krishna, why is Krishna so much captured by our chanting? Um, why is devotional service um, listed by Srila Rupa Goswami as Sri Krishna Akarsani, with that which can attract Krishna? Why is it so? And then devotional service is defined as consisting of 64 limbs, 64 aspects of devotional service. And of all of them, the chanting of the holy name is the topmost. So, how is it? How is it that Krishna is attracted by the chanting? Um, it is because of love. Um, when there is love, when the name is chanted with love, then Krishna is really attracted. Krishna is not vain. It's not that he only loves himself and his own wonderful glories. No, Krishna loves his devotees very dearly, loves every living being. And when these living beings turn to him in loving glorification, Krishna melts. Krishna melts because Krishna is very soft-hearted. Um, Krishna, uh, his entire existence, existence centers around love. Mm. And yes, one thing I always like um, is the Bhagavatam definition of the Madhyam Adhikari, which says, Ishvara tatadini su, Bali se su dvisatchucha, kripa, no, hold on. Prema maiti kripa peksha yakuroti samadhyama. So it says, Prema maiti kripa peksha. Now, for Ishvara, there is prem. For the uh, Tadadinesu, for the devotees, there is friendship, there is maitri. For the innocent, there is mercy. And for the envious, there is indifference, apeksha. Like this, the Madhyam Adhikari is defined. And the interesting thing is that for Isvara he has prem. And I like that because generally we are inclined to put prem somewhere on a level so high that even with binoculars, even with a telescope, you can't really see it. It is so great. It is so high. It is so high. Now, it is all that. It is. We are obviously far from it. A dwarf is trying to capture the moon. But in somehow or other, it is by great mercy that it becomes possible. Um, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhukabunai Shavanadi Sudha Chitta Karya Udai. It awakens in the pure heart such love. We can visualize. We remember the six Goswamis who were Premamritambu Nidhi. They were always absorbed in an ocean of transcendental love. An ocean of transcendental love. We also find the term Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Again, an ocean of transcendental love. So I used to, being Dutch, I have nautic genes. I like to sail, right? Oceans, just to be on the water. It's deeply ingrained in my genes. And I used to be there on the ocean. And then there is nothing, only water in all directions. That's an ocean. It's in all directions. The ocean, the Prema Sindhu, the Prema Sagar, the ocean of transcendental love. Now, we have just become part of it. We have just become part of it. We walked into it somehow or other. At this stage, not so deep, but nonetheless, we are here. In the spiritual world, this ocean of transcendental love is, is just overwhelming, wave after wave. And no two waves are the same. And this is really the experience. So many different waves. Uh, this love is not a wet blanket. You know, sometimes you hear some impersonalists speak about universal love, and I'm sorry to say it, but it reminds me of a sticky, wet blanket. Something that is, it has no character. It has no qualities. It has, what do you love? Just love. Right? But what do we love? Right? But here in this ocean of bhakti, in this ocean of transcendental love, wave after wave, um, different ras, different tastes, different mellows, different moods, just being tasted one after another, just coming eternally. And the residents of Vrindavan, the eternal, the Nitya Siddha residents, the Parisad, the associates of Krishna, they are absorbed in this transcendental love. And so is Krishna. Krishna is deeply absorbed. Sadhanam hridayam mayam, sadhanam hridayam tvaham, ad anyatina janatina ham devyanam namagapi. Krishna is equally attracted to his devotees. And the devotees, they are attracted to Krishna. The Brihad Bhagavatamrita describes the journey of Gopakumar. Gopakumar is a cowherd boy from Govardhan originally, but he has sort of made a detour and now on a long journey throughout the entire universe and even through Vaikuntha, even through all the planets of the spiritual world. He's making his journey back to Goloka. Eventually, he reaches Golok. And when Gopakumar reaches Golok, he comes in this amazing land. Uh, very beautiful, very opulent, very wonderful. But there is one thing that is odd. And that is this, that all the people, they seem absent-minded and they're all looking in one direction. Even the branches of the trees are all pointing in that one direction. Right? What is going on in this place? Gopakumar is wondering. It is the direction that Krishna went in early in the morning. He left in that direction for the forest, and everyone is still looking. Everyone is still waiting in great eagerness for Krishna to return. Krishna equally is also thinking with great eagerness to return and to meet those again who he left behind. Hmm. So in this way, every devotee has that very deep, intimate relationship with Krishna, and each devotee serves Krishna in a unique way. Uh, Everyone has his own inspiration and his own idea. We see it also here in our festival. We see that, like, one devotee, let's say our Sachinandan Swami, who is just is festival personified, right? When he comes, there is a festival. First of all, he always smiles. Second of all, he is so has this childlike enthusiasm, and then he starts to dance and uh, very nicely. And if he does, I've seen him do steps, you know. In once we had this Berlin Ratha Yatra, which was quite something. Jayapataka Maharaj was there in good health. Radhanath Maharaj was there. We had Bhakti Mark Swami there. Sachina. So Bhakti Mark Swami is a dancer. So it woke up Sachinandan Swami. So it's like, I'm also a dancer. And then, they started to spin their arms and do big steps like that, going like imitating the wheels of the rod cart or something. And they were going down the road like that. And I have some pictures of that Rati Yatra, and you know, everybody was moving. Everybody. There was no one. There were no wallflowers. There were no trees. There were no one was standing there like dead wood. Everybody was vibrating. Everybody was part of it. Paramgati Maharaj was there. He was there. My God, was he there? He was running up and down. He was like make everyone run. He was especially running. I remember that. He was running, and everyone had to run. He was like almost like a transcendental terror. He'd come at you, and you'd have to run. And it was running, and even Ka- even Kavi Chanda Maharaj, who's only bones. I mean, he was like flying around in circles. And Jayapataka Maharaj, of course, the big wampus. My God. I mean, if you're worried about wampus, I mean, he has maha large wampus. It was something. Oh, what a festival that was. And it was each devotee was enlivening another devotee. And when one devotee can do it, oh, then we can also do. Yes, there is this exchange. There is the ocean of transcendental love. It's not just everyone. Yes, all the trees were aimed at Krishna. Yes, everyone's eyes were on the direction Krishna left. But everyone is also looking at the other devotees. And everyone is thinking, wow, such amazing devotees. Look at these, look at the bhakti. Look at the bhakti this devotee has. It's really something. Look at how this devotee is chanting. Look, 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 look. Look what he's doing. And you see it everywhere. And it's just spilling over from the spiritual world. And Golokere Prema Dana, the wealth of Golok is landing in this movement. It's right here. New Mayapur, it's vibrating. Have you noticed it? And it's just vibrate, transcendentally vibrating. The deities are just like stunning. I must say, uh, in in France, the haute couture from France is coming to its best here. It's really to its best. Like you saw the coat, Krishna. It's almost a coat. It's not like a kurta or a shirt or a bandi. At the top, it's a bandi, but at the bottom, it turns into a coat. What the deities are wearing, almost. It's quite something. Check it out. It's haute couture. That's La France. They know how to dress the deities. Our best pujari in terms of dressing the deities we ever had in Vrindavan was from France. Onkara, who else? Onkara used to, you've seen all the deities in Vrindavan, there's a lot. And Onkara, he would all by himself dress all the deities, all the deities. And the thing was that it was always amazing and always very different. You never knew what to expect. In most cases, the pujaris have a style and it's sort of this a variety of the same thing every day, but not when Onkar was dressing. No way. I mean, anything was possible with Onkar. It was just incredible. I remember multicolor. Next day, suddenly the deities are in silver and only some orange on the head. Who would do that, right? Everyone would put like flowers all over the place. No, he just put some orange on the head. Everything else was silver. It was just like, whoa, what happened here? It's just amazing, amazing. And one day, Radharani, she was holding not just a bouquet of flowers, not just a basket, she was holding a bouquet and a basket of flowers. And why wouldn't she? Why wouldn't she? because she goes all out to offer everything she can. Oh, and look at that. Maybe we can also do something special today. Oh, yes. Ah, yes. Who's gonna jump higher than anyone else in the kirtan? It's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. No one had ever seen such dancing. He was flying above above everyone else, dancing, not jumping, throwing his body in the air, throwing it up in the air, and then just coming down and not seeing how he was gonna land elegantly, but just crashing to the ground. Nityananda was there. Catch him now before he breaks his bones. Yes. Oh, who will just throw himself in the air, right? Who will spin so fast like a circle branch, or who will just sit quietly in deep meditation? Who will taste all these mellows? Ah, the devotees. The devotees. Oh, devotees are so nice, right? You know, so there's enthusiasm, there is humility. I mean, there's some false ego also, but that we all ignore. That we just ignore. That false ego is something we know. It will go away. The example is someone under the shower is washing. You can't really criticize him for being dirty, right? A wood that is full of cracks and full of holes. This wood is full of holes, this is full of cracks, but this wood is in the fire. It's burning, so who cares that it has cracks? It's burning in the fire, it's going to be ashes. We are burning in the fire of bhakti. Uh, yeah, so who cares about some cracks and some holes? Who cares about false ego? Yes, whatever that's not important. We care about the bhakti, the bhakti. And it's that bhakti, it's that is the love. That is the love. Because it is done voluntarily. There is no payment. There is no reward. Mm-mm. You're not getting any reward. Sorry. The thing. No. The service itself is your reward. The chanting. The chanting is our reward. What do we get from all this chanting? Prabhupada said, more chanting. More chanting. But there is already so much chanting. Still, yes, more chanting, more. The devotees, the associates, the eternal associates of Lord Chaitanya, they chant between bites as they are eating, as they take honoring prasadam. So amazing, so amazing. Oh. Devotees. Devotees, um, when devotees from the heart just start to get spontaneously attracted to worship Krishna, uh, and and just do something, then it becomes wonderful, wonderful. Uh, it's like I when it comes to puja, I have never been a great pujari. To tell you the truth, uh, I can't dress deities. I can't dress myself. What to speak of deities? I can't get it straight. I mean, anything. I can never get anything straight. Right? My tilak is not straight, and it's like a wig. It's too much to one side, too much to front. It's too much for me. These things drives me nuts. So I never was much of a pujari, but somehow or other, a Giriraj Shila came my way, and I worship. Simple. I was in Mauritius, and suddenly the devotees marched into my room, 30 of them, and they had all these things, all these offerings, and they made like a whole arrangement of the Gajendra pastime. They had a portable lake. They brought a lake into my room. There was a crocodile in that lake as well. and then there was a throne, and My God, it was Garuda, and my Sheila was on Garuda before I knew it. They just like, and they did something that I could have never imagined. I couldn't even have dreamt of it, you know. It went beyond what I could imagine. But these are devotees, right? They do things that are amazing, amazing things they do, you know. Some people, they cut fruits and they carve them, you know. They literally carve them in shapes and forms, and it's just an amazing fruit offering. Not just it's the fruit offering today. Okay, cut some fruit, throw it on the plate, plunk it on the plate, and, you know, here, Krish, here's your grub. You know, I mean, there is just unlimited, unlimited variety. And everything becomes an expression of bhakti. And we share that with each other. And so, the ocean of transcendental love is a community of love. And this community of love, we're part of that. And that is what we are meant to be, the community of love. I'm in the process of publishing a little book by that title. It's sort of lying on the with the editors and all these kind of things. The community of love, and yes, in there there's also a little description of a castle, just by chance, and it happens to be so that outside the castle there is a road, just by chance, and yes, some people come on that road. And they're blessed. Not many come on this road. But those who do come on that road are blessed by just seeing the castle. But then there are those who are in the gardens. Oh, in the gardens, yeah, all kinds of people come in and they bring so many things along, their habits. This one still smokes one or two or three in between and whatever he smokes. That one still, you know, does a few other things, but they're in the garden. And there in the garden, um, there is the glorification of Krishna. There is transcendental kirtan. There is the Akanda Utsav. Um, there is a verse which I haven't memorized yet, I should, but there is the word Akanda Utsav. There's Akanda Utsav. And this Akanda Utsav is a wonderful concept, the eternal festival, the never ending festival. There's a spiritual life. Uh, of course, there are always some sour grapes, you know, there are always some people who just miss it, who can't see it, uh, who just are too distracted by the mind, who cannot relish the eternal festival. Um, Therefore, there is in devotional service, there are two aspects of devotional service. The activities of Nitya Kriya are the activities that we perform every day. Every day. Kriya means benefit, the beneficial activities that we perform any day. And in Vaidhi Bhakti, according to rules and regulations. We're practicing devotional service according to rules and regulations. Regarding that, I have a little analogy. Okay, I have to wind it up. I have a little analogy of a road, and we start driving on that road, and we start driving in the night. When you drive in the night and it's pitch dark, as a driver, you depend on the white lines. Your life depends on these lines, right? If your eyes are glued on the lines, and that's how you stay on the road. No lines, you're off the road. So in the beginning, the regulative principles are like what we're watching, and it's all focused on there. And that is the expression of our love, uh, how much we follow these regulative principles. Then, Then we go further. Then we keep on driving, and then at the end of the night, the sun starts appearing, light comes in the sky, and we start to see, oh, there's a hill. Oh, it looks very nice. Oh, look at that lake. Wow. Still driving between the white lines, but look, there's a lake, there's mountains, there's forest. Oh, nice little cottage. Oh, yeah. And driving, wow, it's a scenic drive. That's very nice. In this way, we start chanting. In the beginning, we chant, and it's all the white lines, it's all regulation, attentive chanting. Yes. It's like, how can we chant more attentive? And all these questions. By love, of course. How else? What other way? Everything else is artificial. Hypnosis, you can try it. Alpha waves, listen to music, make alpha waves, you become more sensitive in the mind. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Sit in a quiet place, yes, if you don't fall asleep. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare. Sit or walk, like whatever. But when there's love, then we can chant attentive. So, let's get out of the garden and go into the castle. Yes, that castle. There, guests are mixing with residents. Yes. Then there are some quarters in the corridors, and there are signs private. Private. No guests are allowed in. No, no, no. There are curtains and there are signs private. You cannot enter there. That is for the serious sadhakas. That is for those who are absorbed. That is for those who've given their lives. Now, guests not allowed. No, no, no. And your dog stays outside. Yes. And like this, we are gradually going to the inner quarters of the castle. Yes. Hridaya Kandare Satchinandana, within the innermost chambers of the heart. There is Usachinandana. So anyway, as we go into this castle, there are different levels of, there are the public areas where there's mixing of material influences. And then there's the area where just the devotees who are really like dedicated to following. And then, yes. But the spirit, so we see different levels. The spiritual world, everyone is absorbed, everyone is fully dedicated, and the result is they become empowered. One becomes empowered. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Prabha Bhasya Chaitanya Charitamrita defines empowerment as in this world, as becoming empowered by the Chit and the Ananda potency, or by gaining knowledge of Krishna, Vigya, realized knowledge of Krishna, and Ananda, and bliss. Right? And then later, we also get eternity. And once we get that, then we get that eternal spiritual body, then we get unlimited facility. Right now, it's making the best use of a bad bargain. Yes, here, time is limited. In the spiritual world, time there's time and there's no time. There's a sequence in the spiritual world. It's morning, it's evening, there's different times of the day. But it lasts as long as Krishna and the devotees like, as provides for the rasa. The road is as long as you want it to last. It's not like, I'm staying in the guest house and I'm coming to the temple and oh my God, I forgot. And then you kind of walk all the way back to the guest house, So the second day you bring your backpack and you try and remember everything, pack it all in there, and you're trucking over to the temple, right? Yes, no, in the spiritual world, it's all ecstasy. It lasts as long as the ras, as the taste desires. Yes. So this ocean of transcendental love, it is spilling over into our lives. Let us taste it. Let us relish it. Let us get the insignificance of the material world. It's a bad bargain. It's an anartha. Let's forget about the whole thing. And while we're here, make the best use of a bad bargain, this hunk of flesh. Forget about squeezing enjoyment out of it. It's useless. It's even if you can for a little while because you're young and beautiful, you're going to be ugly tomorrow. You're going to be sick. You're going to have all kinds of problems. Your organs are going to fail. You're going to go blind. You're going to go deaf. Your organs start bulging. Your nose and your chin will grow together. Your teeth will start crumbling. One day you take a bite and you swallow your own teeth, and you'll pass foul air and everything, and even ladies are snoring, and so on and so on. I mean, there's no end, I mean, and then still trying to squeeze some drops out of enjoyment out of all that. Let's just give it up. Uh, let's just relish, relish devotional service. And here we have it. Naimitiki Kriya. Not only Nitya Kriya, the everyday practice, again, 16 rounds, I just finished them. No, Naimitiki Kriya. Naimitiki Kriya. Ecstatic, ecstatic devotional service. Janananda Maharaj is going wild. My God, he's dragging everyone around the tent. We have to hop. We were hopping yesterday. I told Sachinanda Maharaj to hop. He said, "You hop." But Janananda Maharaj hopped like anything because he can do that. He has a particular hopping dancing style, which is very contagious. And soon half a tent is hopping. So all these transcendental tastes and mellows are here. And yeah, Om Jnanati Marandasya Kyanandana Salakya Shakshura Militam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namaha. And Srila Prabhupada, he opened our darkened eyes to all of that. And have you seen, this is my last point, how much Srila Prabhupada is present here in Numayapur? How really that is the one thing that makes this place quite special, that it's really a Prabhupada temple. There are many, many things that are very special, but one thing, Prabhupada is very present. I joined in Vrindavan. I'm a devotee from Vrindavan. And of course, Prabhupada is super present in Vrindavan. And when I came to Vrindavan, I realized that this is the place of Krishna. Krishna was everywhere. I felt his presence everywhere. So I knew this is not ordinary. When I came to the Krishna Balaram Mandir, it was overwhelming to see Krishna and so on. But after a while, I realized Prabhupada is even more present than Krishna. The same thing here, in this place, the presence of Srila Prabhupada. That, for those who come here more often, that comes out so strongly. I remember that Prabhupada said, just offer some fruit to the deities here in the mind. Devotees said, we don't have any fruit. Oh, Prabhupada said, just take some fruit from the garden, just take some bananas. I said, Prabhupada, there are no bananas here. And Prabhupada said, in the future, there will be bananas here. So we are still waiting for these bananas. Gopaswami, you have to do something. It's a little too cold, but maybe the demigods will adjust the temperature. And we'll have. Prabhupada said there will be bananas. Do you believe it or not? I believe it. There will be bananas. Thank you very much. Any questions? Any comments? I can only take one, I think. I mean, because of time constraint. Or one comment. All right. You're the one.
I heard in one lecture what you're saying about samskaras, how they are impressions, especially children, how they are open for the samskaras, and later when we get older, like you get the guards, like ego is filtering, and sanskaras are not so strong anymore. And I remember when I first met devotees, how potent and how this chanting was so strong, but somehow with time I kind of got this filter, and the chanting is not so strong. How to put down the guards.
Prabhu is speaking about sanskaras, deep impressions in the consciousness that remain, strong experiences, and that children are very receptive like that, and that when one first joins, one is also in that kind of freshness, and then after some time one loses that freshness, and one can no longer access that initial mood. That is the nature of Vaidhi Bhakti. And when in serving devotional serves according to rules and regulations, and after a while it becomes routine and it loses its ecstatic taste. And we start to feel its duty, and sometimes even heavy duty. And spiritual, and we become, spiritual life is very wonderful, but it's also very heavy. And I'm trying, Prabhu. Are you crying? No, I'm trying. I'm trying. So that's why we have Naimitika Kriya. That's why. We were dying in this lockdown, so dry. Finally a festival, devotees, finally we can dance, we can do all these things. The cooks can go into the kitchen and go wild, and there's cook to kill, and all these things, are going on. It's a festival. Forget it. Forget the drab routine now. Therefore today, you must go wild. Wild in the kirtan. Switch off that analytic part of yourself. Just switch it off. Do not think, where am I? What's going on? What's happening here? Forget it all. Just do it. Go wild. Everybody will be watching you now. Me too. But with love. That's the wonderful thing. With love. Thank you very much. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kabunai Shravanati Sudachitta Kaya Udar. That love will be naturally awakened. Let's give it a good go today. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful festival. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. La Nouvelle Mayapur ki jai. Gaura Bhakta-vrinda ki jai.
His Holiness Kadamba Kanana Swami Maharaj ki jai.